Hello everyone, I am AdamHarry from BoLS, and we're back with a quick overview for the brand new Broken Realms Be'lakor book. I'm actually really excited about this one. You've probably by now seen the awesome looking new Be'lakor model, and this book is ushering that in. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. If you have not been keeping up with the Broken Realms saga, this is now the third book after Broken Realms Morathi and Broken Realms Teclis, and this book, the series, is somewhat chronological. There's some overlapping events here, but for the most part, it does follow that storyline. So if you haven't been keeping up with the events so far, Morathi pulled some shenanigans. She became a god, I guess, at this point. There's now twin soul thing going on with her, so one soul, two bodies type of thing. Teclis kicked Nagash's butt in Broken Realms Teclis and basically sequestered him to the realm of death and spread the light of hope in the realm of death and caused some other shenanigans. Again, we've done videos on those books. I'm not going to go over them in detail. Yeah, Broken Realms Be'lakor picks up somewhat after those events. And this one is interesting too, because while it is Broken Realms Be'lakor, he does play a major part in this book. This really brings everybody out to play involved in here. We've got Chaos, obviously. We've got Stormcast Eternals having some action here. We've got the Kardran Overlords with some Fire Slayers, which introduces another character, which we'll get into here shortly. We've got Night Haunts also making an appearance. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on in here. There's a lot of overlapping. Oh, and then of course the Seraphon and Lord Croak and all of his good times in space. There's also Silver Tower with a Gaunt Summoner involved. A lot of stuff lore-wise and then rules-wise. Yeah, so we're going to dive in here. Here's the table of contents, obviously. Here's all the major players there on the right. I'm not going to read them all off, but I'm going to try to do my best to do a quick summary of the three different acts of this book. I'm not going to go over it in great detail, but I am going to try to hit some of the highlights here. And then we'll get to the rules, and we'll check out the new Battle Tome updates, because there are some big ones here. Be'lakor, for example, has a brand new data sheet, War Scroll, and the Night Haunts get their White Dwarf processions put back in this book, and there's some updates for them. Kardran Overlords, kind of the same deal. Seraphon, Disciples of Zinch, all that. Fire Slayers, Stormcast Eternals, and then of course Pitch Battle Points updates in here as well. So yeah, let's get started here. You notice here, this is a representation of the Slan and the realms, right? So what you need to understand about this book in particular is this involves an attempt, I would say, to actually sunder the realms and the realm gates. If you don't understand what I'm talking about here, I'll try to give you a brief summary real quick. There are the realms that represent, the heavens, light, shadow, fire, metal, life, death, etc. I think I know them all. I don't know. And then of course chaos. And you're familiar with the realm gates. These are basically the giant portals that you can take to go from one realm to the other. They are connected via the All Points, which was taken over by Chaos and renamed the 8 Points, specifically Archaon. And then if you remember all the way back with the Ossiarch Bone Reaper book and the Wrath of... Oh gosh, it was the Chaos book. Wrath of the Everchosen. The Ossiarch Bone Reapers marched on the 8 Points and took the Realm Gate of Death and have a big ivory fortress there. Well, that was the first incursion. The second incursion takes place in Broken Realms Morathi, where the Forces of Order basically uncover a plot that Archaon has been mining, the Varenstone stuff, the magic that can corrupt even a Realm Gate. He's been mining that and trying to do some stuff, working with the Gaunt Summoner and the Silver Tower to corrupt the Realm Gates and stuff like that. Anyway, Morathi tells Sigmar about it. He says, hey, that's not good. They pour it in there. She steals a bunch of the Varanite ore, molten ore, and uses that to do the ritual to become a god. And also Slaanesh gets freed. That was Broken Realms Morathi. Teclis is mad at Nagash and Broken Realms Teclis and says, hey, you've been overstepping your bounds. I'm going to kick your butt. He then proceeds to do so and binds Nagash back into the realm of death and does some other stuff. lots of background information to just say the realm gates are really important. The foundations of the mortal realms, for that matter, are bound to these gates. If these gates are destroyed, then the worlds explode again, and that's not good. So the realms need to protect their gates. So that's what this picture is representing. Somebody out there is planning to destroy all the realms. So, and reset the status quo. But that can't happen. There is a nice summary of things that have been going on here within these pages. Again, I'm going to try to wrap this up quick, or at least go through this part quick. Act 1 is the Tower Falls. This one basically covers the Seraphon going after the mastermind behind the Varen Spire, the Varanite Ore stuff, and they're going after the Gaunt Summoner who's on the Silver Tower, basically, is what it boils down to. He is the one, because Archaon is the general, and he's like commanding all the forces, and he's like the leader, but the mad scientist behind the man is the Gaunt Summoner on his Silver Tower. So, the Lord Croak leads the Seraphon to take him out. And spoilers, obviously, good retelling of what's going on with 8 Point so far. All this chaos and trouble. Basically, what ends up happening, skipping through some stuff, Croak tracks down the Gaunt Summoner in his Silver Tower. Now, the Silver Tower, of course, can teleport and do all this stuff because it can move with a thought. And so the Gaunt Summoner runs. And because magic, the Seraphon find him, of course, or predict where he's going to land. He shows up, and they go, "Hey, buddy, we knew you'd be here." And skadoosh, they blow up the tower. I'm skipping over some details, but you get the idea. They blow up the tower. The tower then falls. The tower falls like a giant meteor and lands in the realm of Shamon, which is the realm of metal, and causes a massive crater, destroys everything for like 1,000 miles. You get the idea. This giant impact... It's funny how lizards are causing the life-ending crater. You know what? That's not the point. The crater hits and sends up a boatload of ether gold into the air, and it changes the ether gold currents. And you know who likes ether gold? The Durden. Yep. Karjan overlords, and of course their buddies, the Fire Slayers. This is where I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and talk about a new ship. There is a ship called the Redoubtable, and it is helmed by Captain Humbledson. He is one of the guys here, and he has recently acquired a new helmsman, a new Archanaut named Gromthy. Remember that name, Archanaut Gromthy. Archanaut Gromthy is a very old, very rugged Durden. He's got craggly skin with tattoos and everything. He wears a mask a lot of time, and he smokes from a pipe. But even then, when he smokes from a pipe, he does take his mask off. He'll be important later. But he basically, Gromthy here, drops the line and says, you know, if we get the Fire Slayers together, and this is, I'm paraphrasing here, if we get the Fire Slayers together, they like Aether Gold, and we get the other fleets together, they like Aether Gold. We get all the Karjan overlords, we can make quite a bit of profit here. That's what we're after. So, and he's like, Captain Humbledson's like, yeah, actually that's a really good idea. So they get inspired, and they get a bunch of friends together, and then they go after the Aether Gold. But that's where we're going to hit a pause on that part of the story. Skipping over to Act 2, Death Pact. This brings up Be'lakor, who finally makes an appearance here, and he apparently has a somewhat of a history with Lady Oleander. They are ancient rivals, if you remember that stuff. Be'lakor smacked down Oleander once or twice and found her from the realms of the living, apparently. Or killed her, whatever. You can't kill her, she's a goat. Whatever. Anyway, he approaches her and says, hey, I got a deal for you. Whoa, don't kill me. Hang on, we got a deal. Be'lakor wants to destroy the realm gates, or corrupt them in a way that allows chaos, the forces of chaos, to intervene. What they can do, though, is take a realm gate, corrupt it, and basically, instead of making it a realm gate between the realms, make it a realm gate directly to the warp, which then legions of demons can pour in and kill everything. And Oleander is like, why would I help you? And he goes, well, when I corrupt the realm gate and cut them off, I cut off the realm from Azir, right? And she's like, yeah. He's like, you know who's from Azure, right? Who? The Stormcast Eternals. So what are you trying to say? Basically, I cut off... Be'lakor says, I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to cut off the Azurites. I'm going to cut off the Stormcast Eternals from the realm of Azure, the realm of heavens, right? And then I'm going to kill them all, and then Nagash gets their souls back. Oh, well, okay then. So they form a tenuous alliance. Be'lakor is going to use that Varanite to corrupt the Realm Gate. Again, corrupting the Realm Gate's bad. That can lead to destroying the planes or whatever, the mortal realms. So that's how that goes down. But tenuous alliance, they agree, and they pull their plan off, and it works. Long story short, I'm skipping through quite a bit here. They do just what I said. They go in there, they cut off a realm. After the Stormcast Eternals arrive, basically they trap them through the realm, and they kill a bunch of them. And that's where it's bad times for the Stormcast Eternals, because now they're actually dying. They're not dying and going back to Azure to be reforged. They're trapped, and Nagash gets their souls back. And after getting his butt kicked by the Lumineth Realm Lords, you know, Nagash probably appreciates those tasty souls that he was missing. So this goes down. Death, Chaos, teaming up a little bit there. Going through here, it's going well. But again, it's Be'lakor. He wants to just do more than just cut off a realm. He wants to like destroy everything, right? So that's where we get to this part. So he's not just corrupting everything. He wants to do it to all the realm gates and corrupt them all, make them all chaos gates, essentially. Yada, yada, yada. Moving on. That's where the fleet comes in. The massive fleet that has gotten together for the Kharjan Overlords is like, yo, what good is all this money, basically, if we're dead? So they fly over to where Be'lakor's attack is happening, and it's Vindicarum here, and they basically save the day. They show up, they bomb the crap out of the portals, or not the portals, the demons that are pouring out of the portals, and they blast Be'lakor and save the few Stormcasts that are around, including the new Guardia Still Soul, and all that happens there. They beat Be'lakor. He's like, no, Koenig style, you know. He jumps up to the Redoubtable and starts fighting people. But then he recognizes that random Archanaut, Gromthy. He's like, wait a minute, I know you. You're supposed to be dead. What are you doing here? You are from aeons ago. You're not supposed to be here. Hint, hint. So, long story short, the siege is broken. Be'lakor's beaten. They don't destroy the realm gates. The Stormcasts, the few Stormcasts that are still alive, return to Azure, and the day is saved by this combined fleet. And then we get this neat little story about the Archanaut Gromthy, and he's talking to the Sky Pirate Captain Humboldtson, and basically they go through this whole story. He takes his mask off, and in the story, and you find out he's got a big white beard. Big white beard. I wonder who that could be. And then they go through this little sidebar here. Gromthy basically he's like, hey, we teamed up. Going back, he's like, hey, we managed to get the dwarves together. And he actually drops this word. He calls them Dawi. D-A-W-I. Which is an archaic term and not one that he had heard often spoken in Barak Zithlin. So this old dwarf who looks like a weathered oak with a big white beard and ancient tattoo runes on his face uses this old word. And then Humboldtson makes a comment, every Skyport prospered here today with the leverage we have over the Vindicarians, the city that was under siege. After this, we'll be masters of every skyway from here to Adaya. Iadad. Iada? I don't know. Gromthy shot him a frown so full of disappointment that, to his surprise, the engine master felt a stab of guilt. He'd not felt like that. He'd not felt since he was an apprentice back in the shipworks. Basically he shoots him a look that makes him feel super guilty. And then he's like, what did you think we were going to happen? We were in this for the profit the whole time. And then Gromthy basically says, I suppose I can't grudge you that. King Gromthy's voice, suddenly very old and tired. I only hope it's enough to get you through what's to come. Seems there's nothing I can teach you. Good fortune, Beardling. Mayhap we meet again in time. And then there's a soft, rushing sound like the wind sweeping across the skyship's hull. When Hamilton turned, the old Archnaut was nowhere to be seen. Only the faintest scent of pipe smoke remained, the sole swiftly vanishing proof that Grumpy had ever been there at all. Dun dun dun! So who is this Grumpy? It's the White Dwarf, possibly? But he basically united the dwarves for one more go and prevented the world from being destroyed again. So that's basically where the story wraps up. It's pretty good. It's short. I think it's only 60-ish pages, 65 pages, give or take. Pretty quick read. Again, continuing the events, though. And again, Be'lakor, I forgot to mention this, too. The reason Be'lakor was getting away with all this stuff behind the scenes, one, Master of Shadows, two, he was taking advantage of all the chaos that had happened. I don't mean chaos like warp chaos, I mean like confusion and chaos that was happening thanks to all the other factions going to war. So that's what's going on there. And then we get to the rules section here. This is pretty neat. This is going to be all of your campaign rules. If you want to play through the story, you can follow the campaign here. And there's a couple of different rules updates for the different realms. The Genesis Gate of Gyron, Dolarum of Shaiish. Go through all those different realm of battle stuff. Then we get into Siege Warfare. So this is not new rules, but they're also included here. There's also a Coalition of Death rules. So if you want to have multiple players, not just 1v1, but multiple, like 2v2, 3v3. There's two teams, basically, that you can use Coalition of Death rules. And then Genesis Gate's Battle Plan, Stampede of Scales, basically the different acts that we get through. I think there's 6 battle plans, 7. Yeah. And then we get into the Battle Tome updates, which I know everybody's super excited about. Slaves of Darkness updates, Wrath of the Everchosen updates, Nighthaunt updates, Cardinal Overlord updates, Seraphon updates, Disciples of Inch, Fire Slayers, and Stormcast Eternals. So what all do we get? Be'lakor gets his own War Scroll. You'll be able to see this by the time you see this video. You can go to GW's website probably and pull this up too. But a couple of big things. He's now 14 wounds, which is kind of good. His Dark Master rule got tweaked a little bit now. Instead of a 1 through 4, instead of the owning player rolling the die, and on a 1 through 4 you don't get to do anything, and you only get to do stuff on a 5-up. Now the Be'lakor player gets to roll a die, and on a 3+, the model targeted doesn't do anything. So it's basically the same, but somebody else is rolling a die. I'm not a fan of it, personally. I don't think it's fun when you don't get to play with your models. But this is a really great way to shut down a unit once per game for the entire turn, basically. They don't get to do stuff. Then we get to the Lord of Torment. If the enemy fails a battle shock within 12, you can heal D3 so he can get wounds back. Shadow Form, he ignores modifiers, positive or negative, when making save rolls for the attacks that target this model. Basically he's ethereal, so he's a 4-up save all the time. He's also a wizard, and can cast 2 spells and unbind 2 spells. And then Enfeeble Foe is his basic spell here. This one is a casting value of 6. Pick one enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster. Subtract 1 from wound rolls from attacks made with melee weapons. Apply that unit to your next hero phase. Pretty solid there. Pretty good utility. But then I want to call out to his weapon profile that's much improved since before. He's got 14 wounds now. I mentioned that. His movement changes as he takes damage. He starts at 14, goes down to 6 inches. His Blade of Shadows used to just be 6 attacks. Now it starts at 8 and goes down to 4, but he's gained 2 more attacks with the Fell Claw and Spearing Tail, which are both pretty gnarly. So overall, good changes to Be'lakor. 380 points, I believe. I can see taking him anyway just for the Dark Master rule, and the model's freaking gorgeous, so I might pick one up and play with it just because I think the model's cool. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. Cool model, I'll use it. We also have Legion of the First Prince rules. I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but it is in the book now, which they can do some crazy stuff. Different spell lores, command traits, artifacts of power, and all that fun stuff. 9 processions, Emerald Host, and Reichenor's Condemned. I know the Emerald Host was from the White Dwarf way back when, and now it's in this book. And I haven't looked at the White Dwarf to check to see if this is any different, But it's all here. This is the current version. I would use these if you're going to do that. We also get the updates to the Dread Scythe Hardens and the new hero, Coalgrass the Cruciator, or Coalgrass Cruciator here. Coalgrass has a really great ability here if you can get it to work. Basically, if it inflicts any wounds with the Phantasmal Torture, which is his missile weapon, if you get the wound and it goes through and it's not saved or negated, the model becomes empowered until your next shooting phase. The Deathless Spirit's battle trait negate wounds on a 5-up for Night Haunts. It's an army-wide rule. If they're wholly within 12 inches of this model, they are now they now get to save on a 5+ instead of a 6+. That's fantastic. That changes your odds quite a bit for the Night Haunts. For the Night Haunt, man, I just Chain Rasp with a 5-up regular save that's ethereal, and then a 5-up essentially feel no pain save makes them stick around a lot more. It makes the entire army stick around a lot more, and is really good. Again, it's got to be wholly within 12 inches of the model, but it's a fantastic support character. Makes your army a lot tougher. And then the Dread Scythe Hardens got some tweaks here to their attacks. They can now also take 1 in every 5 miles can be a slasher crone instead of just 1 in, I think, 1 for the unit. So that's cool. That's an upgrade for them. They also have the new War Scroll Battalion, the Sorrowmorn Choir, with Oleander. This is the box battalion that's also coming out. So you take a Lady Oleander, you take a Dread Scythe Harden unit and 2 Mirrormorn Banshee units, and then they get a cool bonus here. You roll a die before you allocate a wound on a mortal wound to Lady Oleander from this battalion. If she's within 3 inches of any other unit from the same battalion on 2+, you give the wound to those guys. Basically, handmaiden guards. Unrequited Queen. If this War Scroll battalion is included in a Night Hunt army, Lady Oleander is treated as a general in addition to the model that is chosen to be the army general. You get 2 generals. There you go. Cardinal Overlords. They have new guild triumphs here, which I'm not going to go over, but that's pretty nice for them. And then Drongon's Aether Runners, which this is supposed to be Drongon Humboldson from the story. And they get an extra add 3 to the move characteristics of units in this battalion. That's just a flat 3-inch extra move. In addition, at the start of your movement phase for each unit in this battalion, you can pick 1 friendly Sky Vessel within 3 inches of that unit. You cannot pick the same Sky Vessel more than once from the same phase. Add 3 inches to the move characteristic of that Sky Vessel until the end of the phase. They just go fast. That's the new ability. Fastest vessels in the fleet. Yes, you are. So an extra 3 inches of movement is pretty good. So these are the bound endless spells from Forbidden Power. They have been updated. So there you go. I'm trying to remember who can run these. But yeah, there's just been new bound versions of those spells. Then we get the Celestial Stampede for Seraphon. We got the Blazing Cavalcade for the Zinchi folks. I'm not going to go through their rules. But these are the battalion boxes that you can pick up from GW and run these as well if you want to read them. You can check the website out for those. The Fire Slayers got some cool updates. Doomseekers and Grimwrath Berserkers got an update to their Fire Steel throwing axes, so they both got the same update there. And then they now have some tweaks to their Oathbound and Runic Power abilities. So Doomseekers are still awesome. Grimwrath Berserkers, same deal. They now have a whole bunch of different Grimwrath Oaths, 6 total that they can use, and they're pretty gnarly as well. And then that's going to be it, and we get the points updates here. And like I said, Bellacore is 380, so I knew that. So pretty big tweaks there. It's a lot of stuff. It's an interesting addition to the storyline for the Broken Realms. If you have been reading, collecting, I would certainly pick this one up and go from there. But that's going to be it from us here at BoLS, and by us, I mean me. I'm AdamHarry. Thanks for listening to me ramble. That is the new Broken Realms Bellacore. Quick overview. Wasn't that quick, but you get the idea. And yeah, that's it. Have a good one. Click to subscribe. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.